You are Locked On 76ers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome in, everybody. My name is Mark Farzan. This is the Locked On 76ers Postcast and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. It's great to have you along for the ride, although the ride for the first two games of the season sucks. Either way, it's nice to have you and talk 76ers. And hey, by the way, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On 76ers daily newsletter. One stop. That's right, one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with all the new and free information that you need from Locked On 76ers newsletter. All new, all free. Locked On 76ers newsletter. This particular episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the new season with a big return on FanDuel at FanDuel.com. Place your first $5 bet, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. That is FanDuel.com to get started. So we're just going to do this for a long time now. Like, hopefully, one more game without both Joel Embiid and Paul George, just Sunday against the Pacers. And then after that, the Tobias Harris return home to South Philadelphia, and maybe then we'll see Joel Embiid, which, by the way, I know that the story has been covered in a wild way, but let me just get this out of the way first and foremost. The broadcast, the 76ers' own broadcast, isn't even calling it an injury. They're calling it management. What is the NBA even investigating, if anything? Are they going to do it? Are they even going to look into it? Is it even going to matter? Because the bottom line is the Sixers are telling you, as they've told us already, this doesn't matter. What you're watching this season so far through the first two games, what you're buying tickets for the opener, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the postseason. Well, at least be a little open and honest about it. And, maybe we'll feel a little bit differently as a city. But still, it's kind of a rotten way to go about it here. But hopefully we are as close to the end as possible with the load management of Joel Embiid without really knowing what's going on, especially after he played in that, what was that summer league tournament he was in? I can't remember. It was, the Olympics. Yeah, he played in that and seemed fine, and now he's not playing for our spot. Guy had to live a dream, so there you go. If this is going to go on for any more than just this week, it's going to be wildly frustrating to see Tyrese Maxey attempt, and God bless him for doing it, attempt to put this team on his back. Another awful night shooting for Tyrese Maxey. Now, I went ahead and the game one, I went ahead and said, you know what? I'm not going to look at Tyrese Maxey and say that he struggled. I'm going to say that he battled and that he was abandoned by, the MVP, Joel Embiid. This time around, I can't do it. Back-to-back games, he struggled. I mean, bottom line is he struggled. We're looking at another terrible shooting performance, 6 of 23 from the floor, 2 for 12 from beyond the arc, 23 shots for 24 points, 10 of those points coming by way of the free throw line, for crying out loud. The number one thing, and I'm going to jump right to the top here, the number one thing of the three big things as we get into in each and every postcast from Philly season to Sixers season is the number one thing, we'll jump right to it, is Tyrese Maxey. I know he's taking on a much bigger role. And I'm watching this game tonight, and this thought is running through my mind midway through the second quarter. And that's when the Raptors started to put a big run together for themselves. We'll talk about that coming up in a second. We're talking about the turning point of the game. And I'm looking at that play out, and I'm going, this Sixers team is not going to win this game tonight. And then I saw it was Keith Pompey of 76ers podcast, daily podcast, along with Kayla Santiago as well. And I'm watching it, and I'm going, I would expect a little bit more from a Sixers team going up against this Raptors team that is also, by the way, banged up in this basketball game, and they're not at 100%. Manuel Quigley not playing in this game tonight. RJ Barrett's not playing in this game tonight. Raptors are a banged-up team, and they got Scotty Barnes going out there. What is he, all of a sudden Kawhi Leonard? I don't think so. Is Kyle Lowry dropping threes on it? Oh, no, he plays for the Sixers now. So I'm watching this game play out, and I'm going, this is not at all what I expect. I thought the Sixers were going to be the team that were going to take control of the game in the second quarter and not vice versa. And what really bothered me was it was a very similar situation to the season opener against the Bucks, except you weren't playing the Bucks with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard. You were playing the rebuilding Toronto Raptors. That's who you were playing tonight. And you let them start to take control ever so little there with a 7-point win of the second quarter. They beat you by 7 points in that second quarter. They had a 12-4 run, and really they just controlled the game from that point on. And whenever the Sixers, just like against the Bucks, seemed like they had something going in the right direction, they would have a crucial turnover at the worst possible time, and the ball would go the other way. The next thing you know, you got a slam dunk being thrown down. You have a corner three being hit, and things don't go the Sixers' way from that point on. And that's the way this game played out. Now, again, I could swallow that tough pill against the Bucks. I can't swallow it too gracefully going against the Toronto Raptors in this game. And again, the Sixers won the turnover battle in this game. They drastically lost the second biggest thing of this game, which is the rebounds. Number one, certainly Tyrese Maxey struggling again from the floor. Number two, and look, I understand, this was fouls galore. Look at it. I'm going to just throw this to you real quick. Look how insane this is. I think you can make out some of this. So check this out, okay? Field goal percentage. Sixers shot terribly as a team. Tyrese Maxey, a big part of that. 38%. They were at 34, 35% in that range at the first half. Did not correct that mistake, unfortunately. The Raptors shot 46%. They shot over 50% from the floor in the first half. They ended up shooting 46% the rest of the way. Then you look at the three-point percentage, 31% and 26%. Sixers taking 29 threes in this game. They made 9 of them, just 3 more than the Raptors. And then go all the way down to total turnovers there, all right? Only 16 turnovers by your 10-9-8 76ers. And then the Toronto Raptors, 27 turnovers in this game tonight. Sixers could not take full advantage. They get 28 points off of that. And somehow it did not help their. Maybe that's because maybe that's how they didn't get blown out. I don't know. And also points in the paint. They got blown out in that category. And then the worst possible thing, look at the middle of that screen. 54-28. The 76ers get out-rebounded 54-28. That is awful. And if you look up and down, I mean, really, the fouls were just all over the place tonight. What did you have, 60-plus fouls in this game? Early on, Andre Drummond's got to leave the game. He ended up only having 5 fouls, so he didn't foul out. Kyle Lowry, 5 fouls. Tyrese Maxey, 5 fouls. Yabusele, he has 5 fouls. I thought it was Yabusele. I've been saying it wrong. Yabusele, apparently. KJ Martin, 4 fouls. Then you look over to the Toronto Raptors. They have 3 different players foul out. Everybody is getting fouled. Everyone is committing fouls. Whether they were fouls or not, I don't know. It seemed like in certain instances the refs were swallowing the whistle. Not so much in the case of Tyrese Maxey, who did get 12 free throws, and I have no doubt in my mind that the league said, hey, look, the Sixers aren't going to have Joel Embiid. They got to watch somebody. Somebody's got to get to the free throw line, and it's got to be Tyrese Maxey. But rebounds. Andre Drummond being in foul trouble certainly helped the Sixers in that because no one else is going to come in and rip down boards for you. You see, who is it? Adem Bohm come in, and he checks into the game in the first quarter, I believe it was. That ain't going to help anybody. That's how deep down the bench you had to go because everybody was getting in foul trouble in this game. So I look at Tyrese Maxey. I look at rebounding. I look at the fouls in this game. That was just a rough go on both sides of it. And the fact that you won the turnover battle and still couldn't do anything because your shooting was terrible. That's why it always comes down to this, a very, very simple thing. It's all about the bucket. And the 76ers could not get buckets tonight when they needed them. And every time they had a little bit of a surge, if you will, fourth quarter, they tried to get back into it a little bit. Raptors pulled right away. Unfortunately, Maxey ended up clanking a 3 off the front of the rim after a steal from Kyle Lowry at about 9 minutes left in that fourth quarter. Then Battle comes down. He knocks down a 3. He knocks down 2 threes in back-to-back possessions. Tyrese Maxey then airballed a 3. Couldn't get that going. And then a couple possessions later comes up with an and one. But really, there was nothing the Sixers were doing right in this game. Other than getting turnovers, those bonus opportunities, they were converting, but everything else was going to hell in a handbag today. This is not the 76ers team I want to get used to watching. And yes, I am waiting with bated breath for Joel Embiid to be healthy and Paul George to get out there. And hopefully that is a lot sooner rather than later. They're going to take part in shoot around and practice again tomorrow before they get underway Sunday against the Indiana Pacers in Indiana. That's going to be a tough game for this squad as well. I would assume that Paul George is going to be ready to go before Joel Embiid. I think the Sixers are going to take their sweet time in getting Joel Embiid back. Maybe he does come back in that Pistons game in front of the hometown crowd. That's what I would certainly be rooting for, if not betting on. But asking Tyrese Maxey to do all this, at what point is his workload going to get managed? Something I don't want to think about for a younger player, but he's not a rookie anymore. Sixers just planning to run him into the ground because that man was hitting the floor like AI tonight. Very reminiscent of Allen Iverson. And one of the more glaring stats that bothers me with the Allen Iverson comparison is classic thing with AI was 40 shots for 40 points. I don't need 23 shots for 24 points. And that's what you had tonight from Tyrese Maxey. Whole thing is unacceptable. And I don't know what button Nick Nurse can push. I know a lot of these guys are trying to get used to playing with one another as well. I still think with a healthy roster, you're competing to win an NBA title. But, man, what you're watching right now with the Sixers team is a team that just looks like they're on borrowed time, just waiting for Joel Embiid and Paul George to get back out there. They're 2 games into the season. They look like they were a month into it tonight. And seeing Maxey, although I know he's putting forth the old college try, 100% effort, 110%, whatever you want to call it. I know he's putting that out there. But fourth quarter, it looked like his legs were going. See, look no further than the clank off the rim after the Lowry steal. And on the next possession, air ball. That's how that one broke down. When we come back, we'll take a look at what I thought was the turning point of this game. It was very similar to that Bucks game. And, of course, later in the show, we'll get to your comments as well in the comment section. We'll get to the chat check coming up in a second. This is the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. My name is Mark Farzetta. Make sure you like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Locked On 76ers postcast. Back in a second. Let me tell you about Prize Picks. I would have won tonight if Tyrese Maxey was on, but he was not on. I had him for more than 30 points tonight. Thought he had a nice little response to his first game of the season. The struggles there, not so much. Used Prize Picks to pick more, and unfortunately, I should have picked less. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats or player shots, for instance, to go up to about 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus dollars. It's guaranteed. Don't even need to win. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football, basketball, baseball postseason as well. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. So download the app today. Use promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code LOCKEDONNBA on the Prize Picks app. Download the Prize Picks app today. Pick more, pick less with Prize Picks. I think it's very simple. Very simple when you talk about the 76ers game tonight and the turning point. It was almost identical to what you saw against the Milwaukee Bucks in the opener Friday night, or Wednesday night in South Philadelphia. The way this went down in the second quarter was troubling. Kyle Lowry hit a 3 at about the 10-minute mark. Sixers actually go up 38 to 36. The largest lead they had in the game, albeit was brief, was 3 points. Okay. Then the Raptors rattle off after a Yabusele turnover, they rattle off a 14-2 run. Sound familiar? Because the Bucks went on a 12-4 run in the second quarter against the Sixers, and the Sixers never recovered from that. It stayed in the momentum, I should say, stayed in the favor of their opponent. That's exactly the way this went down. Kelly Oubre tried to rally the team, getting an N1, making the free throw, made it a 7-point game. But at this point, the Raptors had already built a 10-point lead, so they cut into a little bit. Then Grady Dick comes up there. He knocks down a three. Raptors go up 11 points, 55-44. Hack comes up on. They start hacking Drummond at the end of the second quarter, and the Sixers couldn't get anything going. They end the first half, the 76ers, after that 14-2 run, courtesy of the Toronto Raptors. Tyrese Maxey, 5 for 15 for 19 points in the first half. So I'll save you the trouble of doing the math there. Maxey finished with 24 points. 5 points in the second half ain't getting it done. Sixers as a team, as I mentioned earlier, were only shooting 35% at the end of the first half. Toronto shooting 54%. Caleb Martin, Kyle Lowry, Yabusele was all in foul trouble, all in 3 fouls at that point. Jamison Battle had 3 fouls in 5 minutes in the first quarter for the Toronto Raptors. But that was the point in the game that I thought was the absolute turning point. And the Raptors took full advantage of every opportunity that they got. And the Sixers had no answer for it. It was 62-56 at halftime, and the Sixers could barely crawl back into the game. After the half, especially because next thing you know, the Raptors start building up another lead. Sixers tried hanging with them for a minute. Maxey missed his first 3 there in the third quarter, and then Yabusele made it a 4-point game, and then the Raptors ended up responding with a 5-0 run, and then they just reestablished momentum again. Sixers had a chance to get back into it as far as tying the game. Nothing doing after that, unfortunately. A bit of a rough night, to say the absolute least. What do you need to see going forward? That's the turning point. How do you get away from that? Well, it's each of the last 2 nights. So if you're Nick Nurse, you can't just break the glass and pull out Paul George. You can't just break the glass and then pull out, as much as I'd love to see it, Joel Embiid. At some point, these players have to understand how to play with one another. And I know they got new additions. Caleb Martin coming in here. Obviously, Yabusele coming in here as well. They're going to have to figure it out. Andre Drummond being asked to play this big role tonight. One thing I didn't look at was how many minutes he actually he played in tonight's game. 22 minutes, a lot of foul trouble as well. So that probably would have been up closer to about 25, 27 maybe. But Sixers really didn't have an answer as far as the backup center position went tonight. Dembona, as I mentioned, came into the game, did not log a boatload of minutes by any means. 1 in particular, and the Sixers couldn't get any of that momentum going for himself. Center position was out of whack tonight thanks to the foul calls. I don't know if that was a hypersensitive moment from the Sixers not getting calls, but then again, the Toronto Raptors were getting plenty of calls tonight as well. I can't remember the last time I looked at an NBA box score and I saw the amount of fouls over 60. 66 fouls in the game tonight in total. You talk about momentum. It's hard to establish that when the whistle is constantly being blown. Constantly being blown. So what do you need to see? My hope of hopes was Tyrese Maxey being able to win this game for the Sixers tonight. And as the season goes on, with however long, it's not just Joel Embiid is going to play and then you have him for the rest of the season. We're going to be lucky to see Joel Embiid play 60 games this year. As I said after the season opener, will he sniff 65 games? No way. Lucky to see 60. So he's not going to be in contention, although he might play when he plays. He might play at an MVP level. He might have MVP caliber play. Hell, he might be like last year where he had historic play. Not 65 games, so not in contention for the MVP award. That's fine. I'm mostly in the boat of he's just got to be ready for the playoffs. But even this isn't a guarantee of that. So the point I want to make is when Joel Embiid comes back, how long is that even going to be? Oh, is it just going to be you're going to sit him in back-to-back games? I could totally see the Sixers saying, we got to manage that workload again. He's off this week. Oh, like he was off the opening week of the season? Yeah, just like that. Oh, but it's going to be like maybe once a month. He's going to just a full week off. Yeah, that's how it goes. Okay. I'll try to keep my sanity from this point forward. Coming up, love the guy. Got to talk a little bit more about him, Tyrese Maxey, and his performance. Also, get your comments as well. If you got something you want to say about this game, love to hear from you. Hit me up in the comment section right there. We'll talk about our chat check coming up in Tyrese Maxey when we return. This is Locked On Sports Philadelphia and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, Locked On 76ers Postcast. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Yours truly has you through the 76ers season. We got our boys Harry Mays and Jason Martinez covering you for all your Eagles postcast needs. And I appreciate all the people that watch throughout the baseball season with me covering your fighting Phils. Hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Back in a second. FanDuel. Hope you guys are having a lot of fun on FanDuel, because FanDuel is where it's all at. FanDuel has you covered when it comes to some great bets, all the stuff they got going on right now. Hey, NFL fans in particular, how about you enjoy this football season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel is all you have to offer right there when it comes to all NBA, NFL, MLB, whatever gets it going for you. FanDuel's got you covered. FanDuel, especially right now with this great offer, they're offering our listeners and our viewers. When you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats. You can view live play-by-play and so much more on the same page on FanDuel.com. So you can take advantage of all they have to offer. And here's the special offer. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet with FanDuel. So if you're looking at this Sunday, for instance, you could be looking at the Miami Dolphins taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Dolphins at home, favored by 4.5 points. Patriots, underdogs against the Jets at home. They're getting 7 points. Philadelphia Eagles, that line was at 2.5, went to 3. Now it's at 2.5 again with the Cincinnati Bengals and your Philadelphia Eagles kicking off at 1 o'clock Sunday on FanDuel. Bengals right now favored at home by 2.5 points. That's an Eagle line. That's an Eagle line right there. And if you do want to talk about some other teams the Eagles are certainly concerned with in the NFC, the 49ers and the Cowboys kick off in Santa Clara. And with the 49ers, that's home 3.5 point favorites. So a Cowboys line there. And I don't like the Cowboys. I don't like the 49ers, but that one, yeah, let's go 49ers. So that's what you have to offer right now with the great people to FanDuel. So check out FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Check out those odds and so much more on FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com. I am a huge Tyrese Maxey fan, and I in no way, shape, or form expected them to beat the Bucks. And if you caught the show, I didn't expect them to beat the Bucks. What I expected to see was a better version of Tyrese Maxey, and not a version of Tyrese Maxey that shoots 31 shots and doesn't get to 30 points. We said it at the time. It was one of his worst shooting nights of his career, 10 for 31. That ain't going to get it done. Then you see Maxey go out there again tonight, and what does he do again? He struggles. I know he's got to build the confidence. I know he has to take the ownership. This isn't a kid anymore. This isn't somebody that we're coddling. He's not like a young quarterback that you got to bring along. Has he received a short end of the stick? Yes. You have a wide open 3 at the top of the key. You got to knock it down. He opened the season with it, and then it went away. He went into this game tonight, starting out hot, 19 points in the first half, doing well in the first quarter, giving his team the edge in that first quarter. And then it went away. 5 points after halftime. Getting drives through the lane, not finishing, whether fouled or not. 10 of his points coming from the free throw line. I'm fine with that. But seeing him being able to finish at the rim is a huge thing, and we haven't seen it. Struggle with it in game 1, struggle with it in game 2, and here we are as a result. The Sixers 0-2 to start the season. Are there bigger problems? Joel Embiid's health. The way the Sixers are managing Joel Embiid's alleged health. Paul George's health. Yes, I'd like to see him back in there. But with Tyrese Maxey leading the fray, I expected him to beat Scotty Barnes and the Toronto Raptors. I expected him to beat Grady Dick and the Toronto Raptors. Guys got in foul trouble early. Maybe Andre Drummond doesn't. Maybe the game's called differently. It's a different thing. But the hell with that. This is the game. This is the way the game was called. And Tyrese Maxey can't go into a game like this in back-to-back performances when he is being relied upon as the man, unfortunately, because of extenuating circumstances. And again, have a horrible shooting performance. 6 of 23. So you mean to tell me he made one field goal? One field goal in the second half. Yeah, that ain't good enough. Timothy B wants to get in here. Hey, Farzad. Hey, man, what's going on? Nice to see you again, Timothy B. Great to see you again, my friend. Different team now. Same garbage. Good enough. Thank you, Timothy B. Timothy B was a big supporter of our Phillies broadcast, our Phillies postcast, of course. Yeah, you can certainly vent that frustration right now with this Sixers squad. And look, does my frustration, is it a boiling point with Tyrese Maxey? No, of course not. It's a boiling point with the health issues. One legit, the other alleged with the 76ers team and the spot they're putting us in. Because, look, the Flyers are terrible. They're having a terrible start to the year. My prediction for them is second half players. Second half of the season, they'll do something. Now, I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but they'll be more interesting in the final month and a half of the season than they certainly are right now. The Sixers I was looking at to help pull us out of the depression left behind by your Philadelphia Phillies and the way that season ended. Eagles obviously starting to take off. Hopefully keep that going. Let's go for 3 in a row and beat the Cincinnati Bengals. But until then, the team that's going to be filling the gaps throughout the week is going to be the 76ers team. Don't fill it with more frustration. Can we fill it with a little hope, please? Let's see Tyrese Maxey lead this team to a win before you get Paul George back, before you get Joel Embiid back. Let me know we can do it. Because, let's face facts here. Tyrese Maxey and the Kelly Oubre and Tyrese Maxey led 76ers were good enough to keep the Sixers in playoff contention. But you're talking about a team with Joel Embiid before he went out was what? 3 in the playoff seeding? And then they were struggling to be a play-in tournament team? Yeah, that ain't going to cut it this year. I want to see that step forward from Tyrese Maxey. We're not seeing it in the first 2 games of the season. Is it panic? No. But I want to have some confidence that if you are going to only have Joel Embiid for, 60 games, 55 games this year, I want to know that you have enough in Tyrese Maxey and a healthy Paul George to at least sustain a surefire playoff team and not have us sweating out the final month of the season. Play-in tournament? Oh, man, I hope not. Play-in team? I hope not. Because you knew that's exactly where it was headed last year, unfortunately, with Joel Embiid being out before the Sixers were able to rally and was, 8 games back? Crossing my fingers, the 76ers squad could find a way to figure it out. When it comes to what's next for your 76ers, they're going to go ahead and make a trip to Indiana, and they're going to face the Pacers before returning home for the Tobias Harris return game. But Sixers tip off Sunday afternoon. I know a lot of you still be watching the Eagles. We will not have a 76ers postcast that day. We will have the Eagles postcast going on there. But the Indiana Pacers are coming into, hosting the Sixers at 1-1. They beat the Detroit Pistons 115-109 in their season opener Wednesday night. And then they took a awful loss to the New York Knicks, 123-98. That's the one, that one went down. Actually, TJ McConnell, former 76er, came away with the team high in assists that night for the Pacers. As for the Pacers scoring, former Raptor Pascal Siakam came up with 12 points in that game, also had 5 rebounds. Really spread the scoring out a lot with that Pacers team. Sixers, I'm hoping, are up for the challenge that game will present. If the Raptors were going to be a challenge, then I'm going to go ahead and assume that those Pacers are as well. I hope between now and Sunday, it just clicks for Tyrese. He just has to go off for the Sixers to have a chance at winning the game. Not even 50 points. Just, not 6 of 23 shooting. Not 10 of 31 shooting. And the Sixers would have a fighting chance. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That's like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Next postcast will be Sunday afternoon. Harry Mays, Jason Martinez, Locked On Eagles postcast. So make sure you don't miss that as well. I'll be back with you guys following the 76ers coming back from this road trip. 2 games on the road before they come back and face that Detroit Pistons squad. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That's like and subscribe on Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. My name is Mark Farzetta. I will be back with you guys come Wednesday night. See you Wednesday.